Men ran and they cowered, and they fought and they died. They burned and they bled as they issued their cries.
Oh yeah? Well, I can do that too. Hello and welcome to Skyrim mods and more. In this episode we have 13 new mods to improve the gameplay aspects in different ways, and once again try to bring our game more to next-gen standards. Starting with better third-person selection, a mod that makes the interaction with objects more how it usually is in most modern games, and obviously way more convenient than what Skyrim has to offer originally. With this mod it doesn't really matter anymore if the crosshair is directly on the target or not when you are in third person. The nearest interactable object will be selected automatically, so to say. That way talking to NPCs and, what is way more noticeable, picking up items becomes way easier. Especially if it is something small, some small item like single coins, gems and so on. That way you do not have to switch to first person view anymore to pick up stuff. Which is, for people like me who like to play in third person, a really big improvement. As for the next mods, originally I was planning to say the mods in this episode are not combat related, but this one kinda is. Better Combat Escape takes care of one of Skyrim's weirdest mechanics. Do you know how if you try to run away from enemies, somehow the combat music just goes on and those stupid red dots on the radar just don't want to go away, even though the hostiles are miles away already? Well, this mod finally fixes that. Now every time your character enters a new cell, the game calculates the distance to your enemies and ends combat to those who are far away. So yes, it works well, unless there are of course new enemies. Getting away from dragons, for example, is still a huge pain in the ass. Another mod that can very well be combat related is super fast get up animation. We all know how it can be sometimes. A dragon priest shouts you away, or a werewolf knocks you off your feet, or whatever else it might be, and your character will casually and calmly get up, while other enemies gather around for a quick round of flail the retard. Well, not anymore. The quick get-up animation will have you combat ready again in no time. Much faster than the vanilla animation. You can also choose if you want this for the player character only or for combat only situations. That way the lazy slow get-up will actually make sense. The next mod is Dragonclaw Auto Unlock. Ah yes, the so-called door puzzles. The whole concept didn't make much sense from the beginning, since the combination is on the key anyway, so if you have the key you are able to open the door. Might as well make the whole process automatical. You know, push the button, welcome to the next level. Yeah, let's see who gets this reference. There are also a couple of variations if you want the rings to spin one by one or all at the same time. But yeah, we get the concept, it's just way more convenient. Next we are going to play at the river a little bit, with splashes of Skyrim. The vanilla game has splashes of course, but this mod makes it so much better. The splashes will differ based on the size of the object, so if you jump into the water, the splash will be obviously bigger than if you throw in some small object. Also new splashes for arrows and spells. Fire spells, for example, will even make the water boil a bit. Oh my god, such an immersive thrill! And explosion-based spells like Fireball, for example, will really go boom with a big splash. Yes, this mod is really a lot of fun. And it's going to be even more fun with the Paraglider Marge. Have you ever been standing on a mountain and thought, why can't I just jump off and die? And start gliding, like an Ion or Genshin Impact for example, by simply pressing the jump button again. Well, actually you can do exactly that with the real flying mod, but now you can do the same with a paraglider. So yeah, not really such a new concept, and I don't get why people hype this up like crazy. Maybe because it's so immersive, because it would be super unimmersive for someone called the Dragonborn to have wings and be able to glide. It's much more immersive to pull a paraglider out of your ass. A paraglider with a size that could never support the weight of a human, but whatever. It is also quite hard to get this mod to work, not because this mod is bad or anything, but because of compatibility with other mods, and because Nemesis is a piece of shit and likes to crash a lot or spit out different arrow codes. So it took me several hours until I finally got this to work. Here is how I did it. Since I use both the combat gameplay overhaul mod and the movement behavior overhaul mod, I activated the patches for both of them. After that, relaunch Nemesis and try to run it. It will most likely give you this error here. To fix this you have to delete the whole output folder. That would be this one here, temp underline behaviors. Then proceed as usual. First the update engine button, and when this is done, the launch Nemesis behavior button. If it crashes here, that's absolutely normal. The success rate is around 10%, at least for me, with this garbage program nowadays. Which is funny because when I reviewed it for the first time it was working flawlessly. So just keep doing this until it succeeds. Later, when you enter the game, complete the quests and get the paraglider. It can be that it refuses to get deployed. So that was the case for me as well. I fixed this by simply dropping it from the inventory and then picking it up again. Somehow it then started to work as intended without any issues. The mod itself is actually really cool. You can steer it to go slower or faster, as already mentioned, pretty much like in games like Genshin Impact. It is quite fun. And speaking of impact, the next mod will sure have quite an impact on your game. Dynamic Things Alternative fixes a lot of objects which should have been interactable from the beginning. This includes, for example, the training dummies and archery targets. They will now actually grant you XP as you practice on them. Well, this is actually nothing new, other mods did that in the past. This mod, however, also fixes a lot of containers, like crates and barrels, which only had cosmetic purposes in the vanilla game. Same goes for many other objects, which now will be interactable, harvestable and lootable. For example, remember that quest where Isolde wants you to find a mammoth task for her, whatever she was planning to do with it, and then you come across something like this. Well, guess what? Now you can just harvest the task from the mammoth skull. And also all the other items like goat horns and antlers from those Forsworn decorations, for example, taproots hanging from the trees and much more. The whole thing just absolutely makes sense and adds so much more immersion to the game. You can even harvest items from wall-mounted decorations. Of course, for that you need to be on friendly terms with the owner of the house, or it will count as stealing. It's just like with regular items laying around the house. But yeah, this mod is a must-have for sure. And another extremely immersive mod is Immersive Equipment Display, another mod to display weapons and items on your character. Until now I have been using the All Goods mod, which is also pretty good, but this mod here goes one step further by adding a very nice in-game menu. There is also no need to generate additional meshes like some other mods require, and it also does not use body slots like other mods. You can display weapons and pretty much any other item existing in the game on the player character, on all NPCs, or you can also tweak each NPC individually. By default, the NPCs will display all the gear they have in their inventory, and for the player character you have to favorite the items. Then you can easily change the position or scale of each item in real time to prevent clipping and such. As for items you want to display, it is a bit more complicated. First you need to go to the View tab and select the Custom menu. This is where you can tweak the items displayed on your character. Next you will need to create a preset. After that, go to the Tools tab and click on Custom. This will open a new window. This is where you can add the items to your created preset. So in this window click on Actions and then New and create an item you want to add to this preset. Then you will have to choose what the item is going to look like, so click on Select and here choose the model. You can literally add any object in the game. Then you can choose whether the item needs to be in your inventory to be displayed and many other options. You can play around later with this stuff. But to actually see the item on your character, close this window and go back to the main window and click on Apply Preset. Now the items from this preset are actually attached to your character and you can do all the fine tweaking. And let me tell you, those are just the basics. There are a lot of other options you can play around with here. Select different conditions to display items, for example. This is without a doubt the most fleshed out and convenient to use gear display mod ever. I mean, it's really way ahead of anything we had so far. Color me impressed, and immersed of course. Next we have another somewhat combat-related mod. Smooth combat, non-combat animations. The idea here is simple. Your character should look different with a weapon drawn, depending if it's during a real fight or, I don't know, just taking a stroll with your sword out, posing for some sword pics or something like that. So idle and movement animations during combat will actually look like your character is serious and concentrated, and as soon as combat stops or your enemies are defeated, your character will look chill and relaxed, just standing there looking cool. And there are really a lot of animations this mod comes with. If you install the whole package, the animations will play randomly thanks to the dynamic animation replacer mod as usual. All the animations are also, as usual, pretty high quality, just like we are used to with stuff by Smooth. Here are some examples from the mod page. There are a couple of more really good animation mods, like for example Gesture Animation Remix. This is another one of those mods to make NPCs a bit more lifelike during conversations and give them behavior fitting their personality and situation. And this mod actually does a very good job at that. Here is a very good comparison of Shiogoras under the influence of this mod.
Oh, what kind of message? A song! A summons! Wait, I know! A death threat written on the back of an Argonian concubine! Ah, those are my favorites. Well, spit it out, mortal! I haven't got an eternity. Actually, I do. Little joke. But seriously, What's the message? Oh, no mistake at all. What you made was a choice.
The difference is clear as day. Also, since I have a similar mod called NPC Animation Redux, which I have already talked about in the past, plus the sexy random idols for females, the amount of animations, especially the female characters, shuffle through is indeed quite high and gives them an almost nervous look sometimes. I mean, it is perfectly normal to be a little nervous when you chat with Chat Dragonborn, so it fits well. Another animation mod is... oh, well, looks like we have to do it.
Take a seat, young
Dragonborn.
It's unfair, but we will cut his arm off later. I mean, this mod adds 14 different random animations for sitting on the ground or sitting on cliff edges, and also for praying. Just a bit more variety in this department. But the next mod is actually very serious, because it deals with sleeping habits. Ever noticed how the NPCs are not even a tiny bit phased when you wake them up in the middle of the night and want to talk business? Well, somebody decided that this is not immersive, and so instead we get this.
Oh yes, I trust you have something vitally important to tell me. Important enough to interrupt me in the middle of the night,
Yes, this Sleeping Expanded mod makes conversations with sleepy NPCs way more fun, and super immersive of course. Some will be a bit grumpy, some will be a bit concerned because they assume you must have a really good reason for waking them up in the middle of the night, like a dragon attack or something like that.
What is it? Dragons?
Yeah, right.
Why, you?
On top of that, this mod adds 2 new get out of bed speeds, so the slow vanilla get up will only apply to old people from now on, which kinda makes sense. And finally, there is a mod where you, the player, have the chance to really shine. Skyrim Got Talent. This mod allows you to become a real bard.
I work with my mother, sell fruits and vegetables. It's fun most days, but hard work.
Okay, sure, you are right. That's also not a very new concept. There have been mods like this one in the past. So, what does this mod do better? Well, frankly, it's a very simple mod, but that is also what makes it kinda good. You just click on one of the instruments and start playing, and you play one of around 100 new songs. This is pretty much it.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place. A few drinks, a few laughs, and a contest. What could be better?
The people will react to your music dynamically depending on your skill. That also means that you will suck pretty hard in the beginning. You will suck so hard that it can even give you a depression debuff after your awesome performance. I somehow managed to play so bad that I actually broke the flute. Yes, something like this sure can make somebody depressed, you can believe that. Of course, with time and lots of practice you will get better and will be able to actually impress your audience and get some positive buffs sometimes. Practice makes the man, as they say. And this is it for this episode. The links to all mods are as always in the description below. Don't forget to endorse the mods you like. And if you like seeing cool mods, hit the like button and subscribe for more. I hope your bard career goes better than mine. Thank you all for watching and see you around.